essential life skills. We're currently helping 700,000 children in over 20 countries affected by conflict, poverty and disease, mainly in Africa, Asia and the Middle East. To do this, we need a lot of help from a lot of people. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all the people in the room who've helped us along the way to date, because I know there are many of you. A big thank you as well to Specialised, who helped us with this year's ride, are helping us with next year's ride, and of course are helping us host the bike ride tonight. So thank you very much to Specialised. So a bit about the bike ride. We run a series of challenge events throughout the year to help us raise the essential funds to continue to do our work. Next year will be the fourth bike ride that we've done, and it's going to be the biggest and best yet. It's going to be from Liège to London. Over 200 cyclists, I better get my stats right, over 200 cyclists, over 300 miles, and yes, I'm looking at all of you to sign up here, over 3 days. And those people who are taking part will be able to witness the prologue of the Tour de France, and rather fittingly end next to the Olympic Stadium. In terms of those who are brave enough to take this challenge on, you'll be able to see one of Right to Play's ambassadors in action. He's definitely a man at the peak of his powers. Not only did he storm to the green jersey in the Tour de France, but he also found time to pick up the coveted rainbow jersey at the UCI Road World Championships. And if that wasn't quite good enough, we have another big name for the world of sport. He's less well known for pulling on tight jerseys, but he's certainly at the head of the broadcasting peloton. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mark Cavendish and Johnny Bedell.
Good evening, everybody. It's great to have one of the great sporting superstars of Britain with us here at the moment, and there's a chance for you actually to ask him some questions. So if you've got anything that you'd like to sort of throw at Mark, feel free to do so. I've got a couple that I'd like to start off with. I don't normally put on a tight lycra, but I did actually do 300 miles, that's nothing. I did a 1,000-mile one earlier this year, and I have to say, on the 5th morning when I woke up, and it's just a bit tight in the quads and whatnot, I woke up, I thought, oh Christ, not another day on a bloody bike. Do you ever feel that?
Never.
Are there moments then, how many hours a week do you think you actually, at height of training time, never mind actually when there's a, whatever it might be, race on, how much time per day do you actually spend in the saddle?
Well, next week I start, I've actually got a 40-hour week next week.
Right. So that's what, 6 hours a day?
Yeah. But that's not, obviously in the season we're racing a lot, Tour de France we're spending 5-6 hours a day, when you're racing it's different. But yeah, it's like, that's like any job, except for instead of sitting at a desk or something, I'm riding a bike.
But when you're training and riding a bike, especially at training time, in the depths of November or whatnot, when, if you like, the first target is what, 4 months or so away. Do you cycle with an iPod in, or or are you is it just you and the road and the bike?
Don't cycle with an iPod in, it's dangerous.
Yeah, right. Health and safety conscious there. No, so do you have nothing to distract you?
To be honest, I don't train with music. I train. If I'm alone, a lot of time I'm just out. I'm out with other pros, or out with friends, even club riders, and it's just a banter. It's just a good crack out with people, You stop for a coffee, you stop for a tea and a scone or whatever, But when I go out on my own, there is times when I'm just out there with my thoughts. That keeps me occupied. I'm quite a deep thinker, and so 6-7 hours can go quite quickly sometimes. But obviously, when you got your mind on something, and when you got a target, then it's quite easy to just stay focused. A lot of times I won't be out in the Isle of Man, like looking at a Manx road. I'm looking at if I'm going up a climb, I'm not looking at going up a mountain. I'm looking at going up a Poggio or Mountain Rainbow, for instance. Stuff like that, and it goes quite easy.
Again, as someone who this year, I stopped running because my knees were knackered, and I took up cycling, so I've become one of the people. I've got one of these.
You took up golf, but it's good.
I'm giving that up now after today. This was 1,000 rungs down from where you live. This was the first year this year that I've kind of really contemplated hills on the scale that I was doing some hills this summer. I was thinking, and I found going down hills actually far worse than going up hills, because I got scared in a pathetic kind of way. When you're going down a really steep hill, can you let any kind of fear into your brain, or have you just got to go for it and what the hell?
No, anyone who's a cyclist, a motor racer, or whatever, it's like, yeah, I think I've talked about it before in interviews. It's like you've got something in your head, you know, a little thing that says to you like, "If I go too quick down this corner, it's a consequence," you know. But we don't have that. You know?
That gene is missing somewhere.
We do in a way, like it's all calculated. I know the limit of what I can go around. It's more I don't have to think about it now. I know the limit I can go around the corner. Sometimes I wish I could have know the limit of how much I can use my mouth sometimes, you know. But that's something I've got to learn. But yeah, on a bike, it's kind of it sounds really not really scientific, really not you know, glamorous. Or it's calculations. It's lots of just calculations. It's not a finesse to it.
I suppose the thing is, though, if you were totally in control of everything and you were just cycling on your own, then you can make those calculations and you can make make the decisions as you want to do it. What you can't factor in is what anybody else is going to do, which I suppose is it's always the random in there, isn't it?
That's the thing. Like everyone else is pros, but yeah, you will have to. You just got to put your trust in it. That's where that little thing that says that's where it's gone. That's where we have to accept it. We have to put our trust in the people. Sometimes you get, you know, a little Spanish guy slap off in the corner, you know, put his brakes on around the roundabout and take the hell out of it.
It's always the same, isn't it?
To be fair, normally is. I'll tell you what. Now, there's a thing behind it, because it's quite, like, in Spain, like, this is quite a boring story, but it actually puts that thing into context, like, oh, there's a cycle, don't write this stuff in cycling. He's got a little camera. Look, he's got a little camera. No, well, okay, I'll say it's not the Spaniards, but there's a lot of Europeans.
A lot of Europeans.
European races. No, seriously, like you get in Britain. We came up and you learn to race a bike. You came on the track, especially track. Okay, I won't say any nationalities.
People from the world.
Yeah. I grew up on the velodrome, racing on the track, and you learn a lot of skills there, getting through little gaps, turning your bike, steering your bike. Now, a lot of races on the continent, when you're an amateur, they all finish at the top of the hill. So the race pretty much goes easy, and then everyone gets to the bottom. So it can be a 200k race, finishes up 20k climb, but you may as well just have the 20k climb, because the rest they don't really race. They get to the bottom of the climb, and then they all go hell for leather. And you don't need a technical nous there, you know, you just go hard, and these guys get pro contracts because they do that, and they haven't really learned how to race bikes, you know, and when you come from a track background or whatever, you kind of, it's instilled in you how to race, you know, and obviously I can't go uphill very fast, so I had to win races other ways, and that was on the ones not on the hills.
Right, any questions from anyone? Yeah, lady there, go on.
I was going to say, how do you hold your mind together on such a long stage when your job is the last 50 meters, 100 meters? How do you hold it together and keep your appetite wet until that last moment?
If you couldn't hear it at the back, so just repeat, because obviously you're facing this way. The question was, how do you keep your concentration and your focus together when basically your business is right at the business end of the race?
Because it's a misconception that my business is right at the end of a race. You know, I have to be in the best condition I can be to be able to sprint there. It's not like I'm hanging on to someone the whole way and I sprint at the end. I have to be there and I have to be in the best condition, and that's about looking after yourself, making sure you're not using extra energy by riding in the wind. Make sure you're in someone's slipstream. Make sure you're at the front and the corners. It's the whole race. And we're probably the most active people, you know, in terms of thinking and doing things. You know, some people may be physically more active by riding on the front and pulling the peloton, but the guys like me, we're always having to think about where we are, thinking about everything for the end. So that's how we do it.
It's interesting when you talk to cricketers. I think it's fantastic that you're here tonight, actually, just to talk about the bike line and things like that, and actually consciously make an effort to promote it. So I think that is great.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, like, I think it's a known fact that everything I say is from the heart, you know. It's and everything I believe in is from the heart. I don't just do things for attention or commercial gain or whatever. Right to play. I first met Right to Play when T-Mobile changed to High Road, and Right to Play came along, and I wasn't successful then, so I wasn't in an interest to get me name with a charity, so I bought into Right to Play straight away with what they do, and so it wasn't just about them working with the team. I started working on a personal level. I wanted to know more, and I've always been a massive supporter since. I think it's just, you know, so easy sometimes to like look at a charity and you don't know, you can't really relate to it. You can give money. One, you don't know where the money goes, or two, you can give money and it's for something that you don't know anything about. If it's to supply, you know, medical things, okay, it's doing something good, but I can't relate to that. But with Right to Play, I could, you know, it was helping like underprivileged people through, like children through sport. It's through something you could do. You know, there's a story I heard, and it was in I think it was in Sierra Leone, and they went, and there's a little girl, and her parents had both been killed, and she hadn't talked for a year, and they went and they rolled. I can't remember who it was now, but they just went off and rolled the ball to this girl. She looked at the ball, looked up, and she pushed the ball back. And then he pushed it back again. She looked up, she pushed it back. And they kept going for a while, like, and it wasn't just after that one thing, but in time she was talking, you know, and she just integrated back into life, and it's things like that, you know, you can actually see what it's doing, and you can see that things can be helped through sport, and that's why I didn't buy into it. I just seen the benefits of it. I seen the positive influence it had, and so I've been a massive support since, and yeah, on a personal level, not just through the team.
That's great, Ambassador Steve. Fantastic. That's brilliant, Mark.
Distances was so much bigger, and I got selected for the Tour de France that year, starting in London, and I never ridden a Grand Tour. I'd ridden the races earlier in the year, but I'd never ridden a Grand Tour, let alone the Tour de France, and I was alright the first week. I had a few crashes and that, but then we got to the Alps, and I remember I dropped on the first climb, boom, and there's 4 climbs that day, and I only got about 35 kilometers in the race into the stage, and it was about 200 kilometer stage. I had 170 left, and I was thinking to myself, I can't do that. It's so long to go, and I retired at the side of the road, and there's been only 3 times in my career that I've ever retired. I think during the stage, I got off and got in the team car, and that was one of them. And since then, I said to myself, like how can it be too long? Everyone else has got to do it. It will end. And since then, I've always just said to myself, I've been dropped, and that has been quite a lot. You just say to yourself, it'll end, you know. It may seem difficult, but you just keep going. The more you do, the less there is to do. Just look at that. There will be times, I'm not going to lie to you, there will be at least one point on it that you think, oh, I can't do it. Everyone can do it. You can do it. You're on a bike, and you can do it. Just keep going. Like, I think that's it. It sounds like bad, like encouragement, but it will end.
Go on, you want to one?
I was going to say, one thing for Leo back there is that how many times in a stage have they said the finish is at 120 miles and then you find you get there, as happened this year, and there's another 10 miles to do? Never. That's what happened to us. We'd spent 13 hours in the saddle,
right.
Got to this point in the middle of nowhere, thinking there's a hotel here somewhere.
Right.
And we had another 10
Okay,
miles.
well, there's a warning out to the organisers of the event to make sure they measure the bloody course properly, because